Wonderful, thank you. So here we are, and as I was just wonderfully reminded, we are recording this meeting. So we've turned off the video and sound for public participants in order to achieve the best recording quality possible. And this recording will be posted online on AFP's opportunities page after the meeting concludes. I will also be emailing out a link to the recording to everybody who registered through the Eventbrite page. Next slide, please. All right, so if you're joining from your computer, click the chat icon at the bottom of your screen, circled in yellow, to access the chat window and type in your questions. Make sure that you're chatting to everybody so all participants can see all questions. So if you have questions, you'll be able to do that. This is because we'll have a question and answer period at the end of our presentation. That being said, if you are joining us from your mobile device, to be able to access the window on a mobile device, click participants, then on the next screen, click chats, and you'll be able to type in your questions there. Again, make sure that you're chatting to everybody. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, sorry, Sue, that was the one for mobile participants. Next slide. Thanks. Okay, a little bit about Art in Public Places. Art in Public Places, also known as AIPP, is a program of the Cultural Arts Division within the City of Austin's Economic Development Department. Next slide. Thanks. AIPP is funded by a city ordinance that sets aside 2% eligible capital improvement project budgets. Those eligible projects include things like the creation and renovation of city libraries, parks and fire stations, and those. And in this case, what was the expansion of the parking lot at the Garcia Recreation Center, which is run by the Parks and Recreation Department. So once a permanent artwork is created through AIPP, it goes into the City of Austin's public art collection. There are over 325 public artworks in the collection right now, the locations for which you can see pictured on the map. Clearly, they're all over Austin. All right, thanks. So here are some examples of works in the collection. As you can see, there's a diversity of forms, materials, scale, and a mix of exterior and interior pieces. If you'd like more information on how AIPP is funded, the ordinance, or the work of AIPP, you can visit our website, Austin Creates. Our entire work collection is also listed on publicartarchive.org. You can explore the collection there. Feel free to reach out to AIPP staff if you have any questions as well. All right, so let's get started. First, a little background about this project. The Garcia Recreation Center is located in District 4 off of Runberg Lane between I-35 and Cameron Road within the Heritage Hills and Windsor Hill neighborhoods and on the territories of the Tonkawa and Munu or Comanche tribes. The center is very active with lots of programming for seniors and students from nearby schools. Particularly, Dobie Middle School is right across the street, Runberg Lane. The pandemic has, with some exceptions to the community garden and the surrounding park amenities, greatly affected the attendance, however, still very active. It was built in 2008, and Phase 3 improvement project provided the AIPP funding for this project, which was the parking lot expansion project. We are excited to finally be able to get the AIPP project going. In this coming year, the site will see other changes too, including a basketball court on the opposite side of the wall seen here. So it will be on your right. If you're looking at the building, it'll be on your right-hand side towards Middle Fiskville Road, and the potential for lights being installed on the field just above from the proposed wall as well as yet to be determined, and potential volleyball court. Thanks. All right, so the artwork location and opportunities. The Gus Garcia Recreation Center's Advisory Board, also called Friends of Gus Garcia, has shared a strong preference for a mural and for the artwork to be located on the center's northeast side. That is the wall that you're seeing here from two different perspectives. However, once the selected artist is on board, the artwork's final location will be a point of collaboration between the artist, staff, and users of the Recreation Center. Next slide. All right, here are just some other images of the Recreation Center, and you can see just how much this recreation has to offer and the kind of different, just all the different users and amenities that they have. It's a really amazing place to be. All right, this is a really important part, the Garcia Artwork Project goals. The following artwork goals were drafted based on community feedback and input from Friends of Gus Garcia, the Recreation Center's Advisory Board. By achieving these project goals established by the community, the artwork has the best chance of benefiting the community that is intended to serve. So, all right, goals. The goals for the Garcia project are that the mural serve as a recognizable visual landmark, reflect the rich diversity of the center and the surrounding community, really wanting to highlight its welcoming spirit. Integrate into the natural environment as it is part of a park recreation center, and drawing visitors to the site, inspire curiosity and imagination in a visual appealing way, and truly respect the life and legacy of the man that was Gustavo Gus L. Garcia and his family. The artist's budget, once again, is $23,000. Be sure to be thinking about these goals as you're completing your application and specifically on those short answer questions. So moving on to artist eligibility. Who's eligible for this project? In order to apply, you need to be a visual artist, which to me means that you have some sort of body of work. Be at least 18 years old, and live in Austin 7-county metropolitan area, or in those counties listed there. So you're not eligible to apply, unfortunately. Full-time permanent employees within the city of Austin, employees in projects, project consultants, and sub-consultants for the or if you're an artist who's already under active contract. So applications, like it says, that are not meeting eligibility will need to be withdrawn from consideration. Next slide. I almost slides. Short change. So what are the steps for artist selection? As you guys know, the call opened on February 3rd and will stay open for approximately 2 months until March 30th. A 3-person jury will be made up of visual arts professionals, and will be advised by community members and stakeholders to choose finalists for the project. Those finalists will be interviewed by the jury and project advisors in order to find an artist and alternate who will best fit this opportunity. An alternate is always chosen in the case the selected artist is unable to complete the commission contract. The selection process recommendation will go to the AAPP panel and Arts Commission for approval. Then the approved artist will be placed under contract to get started with their work. Awesome. So AAPP is in the process of hiring a jury of 3 visual arts professionals for this project, one of whom will be local. These paid jurors bring relevant arts background and subject matter expertise to the artist selection process. The jury and the project advisors will be convened to recommend an artist and an alternate to the AAPP panel and to the Arts Commission for their approval, as stated before. Next slide, thanks. So here is a tentative AAPP project schedule. Call was released, as said, in the beginning of February and closes on March 30th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is what we're all shooting for. It's a big day. Artist selection is then to take place in April with approval slated to go forward in May. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do you apply? AAPP only accepts online applications through publicartist.org. Shown here is AAPP's publicartist.org landing page. From here, you'll click into Gustavo Gus L. Garcia Recreation Center, Phase 3 application under the open calls section. This brings you to the application. You need to log on to your publicartist.org account to actually fill out the application. Know that always creating an account with Public Artists is free. So these are what your application requirements consist of. Resume of work experience, 10 images of artwork, 3 contacts for references. So an important thing to realize here is that we don't need the letters of reference. We just need a name and an email and or phone number for each reference. So no reference letters. And then short answers to 3 questions that you see here below. So why are you interested in this project? Do you have a connection to this area or its community? And this is truly important for us as this community is very involved and has great interest in the development of the project. The selected artists will be collaborating with a community advisory group on this project called the Friends of Gus Garcia. As an artist, what role has community engagement played in your work? If you haven't worked with communities, are you interested in doing so and why? So also don't forget to think about the project goals as you're crafting your answers to these questions. The final part of the application is a demographic survey. The City of Austin is committed to facilitating greater access to the viewing, creating, and decision-making of public art. In order to make that a reality, we are asking applicants to complete 5 different demographic questions. Please answer the survey questions if you are able to. Though please understand you can choose not to answer these questions by selecting the prefer not to answer option for each question. All right, main takeaways. Apply, apply to publicartist.org/AAPP by March 30th. March 30th is the day, at March 30th, 2021 at 5 p.m. So your short answer questions are important. These are a way that you're able to directly talk, to our judging staff. So highlight your connection to your community. Share the experience and interest in engaging with Gus Garcia Rec Center community too. So you're applying with your qualifications as you're applying with your qualifications as an artist. So please do not submit a proposal. That's not what we're looking for. So thanks. And the last one is EAPP staff is always here to help. However, for technical assistance with your application, it's best to reach out to publicartist.org. I've listed their email and phone number below. Lastly, so we're here for questions. And what questions do you have? So we can get into the question portion of the meeting now. However, if you have questions later, please remember that you can always reach out to me directly. My phone number and email are here on the screen, and I'm here to help you as a city resource. I'm now going to turn it over to Alex, who will be monitoring the chat for your questions. She's going to read your questions out and we'll respond. Our program manager, Sue Lamb, will also be here to help with this. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Anyone?
I've got one that I could share. Maria Teresa, I think that via email we received a question earlier this week or last week about what kind of mural are the Friends of Gus Garcia looking for, and could it be more than two-dimensional? And did you want to respond with the answer to that one?
Oh, for sure. I think that's a great question that we received. So right now, our response that we had for that was that something more than two-dimensional requires us looking into the structure of the building. And when we're talking about the structure, the engineering and support system of that, and then how would that be anchored onto it? That is not something that we are currently would be occurring at this stage. And in reference to this project's budget, may not have the ability to do. Mm-hmm. And is there anything from the engineering standpoint that you would like to add to that?
Well, I think maybe I would add that the artist doesn't really have to have an idea in mind yet.
That is true.
Yeah, if they're selected, they can work with the stakeholders, the advisory board, the staff at the center to understand better what is needed, what they hope the artist will be inspired by, and then an artist doesn't need to have a solution going into this call. They can just submit their qualifications, and once they're selected, then that's the opportunity for getting more clear about a concept and hopefully inspired by the community, and then working through the details of that. So I guess that's what I would say.
Missed that portion.
Yeah. Looks like we have a couple of questions. Alex, do you mind if I read out? Let's see. There's one from Maria. She says, I'm an emerging artist and I want to know how best to engage with this program. I have one mural under my belt in Austin and have lived here for 2 years and have a portfolio online. So Maria Teresa, did you want to take that?
I'll start and you can follow up. How about that if I miss something? So, so I think you're right you're on the right track. Artist information meetings are one of the first points of contacts when a project was starting. And it's one of the first points of contacts that you have with me as a project manager for Gus Garcia. The next step would be begin application on publicartist.org. And as I mentioned, those applications are always free. You would need to create a profile, and that can begin through creating your application with them. and you'll be able to see those requirements there. And of course, my contact information is here if you have direct questions while you're doing this process or have questions. Let's say even after you submit it, if you're worried and things of those sorts.
I have a couple of things to add. I have two things. One is I got the name wrong. They were saying, hi, Maria. They were talking to you, and I always think of you as Maria Teresa, or Maria Teresa. So that question was actually from Ariel. And secondly, I just wanted to plug the fact that we do open office hours twice a month.
Great way.
We have virtual open office hours that you can come to a Zoom meeting and talk to Art and Public Places staff between 10 and noon, the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. And that we can, I think we have the link that we could post in the chat. Otherwise we can try to send that out later. So I just wanted to plug that for a moment. You can ask questions about open calls or just anything about the program at all.
I'd like to emphasize again that open office hours are a great way. And you have the ability to talk to all project managers at different rotating availabilities.
And then the next question is from Holly. The selected artist will be working with the community in the making process of the mural, ? I don't have a team and have not worked at this scale yet, but would love to apply. So I think the question is, the selected artist will be working with the community in the making process of the mural. She's wondering if it's the actual making of the mural that they're going to be involved in. I think that's the question.
Okay. So the community engagement process will be working. It does not have to be. It has at times. Art has been in times worked with in the past with the community, but it does not have to be. When the traditional community engagement process is in the cultivating of information and information gathering of what is the community looking for, and what are they interested in their artwork including or having or responding to. This partially was done first by myself when I was doing community engagement as in my role, and in a way it happens again, and that led to the development of the project goals. The selected artist then does their own community engagement, and this works to further define goals or objectives for the artist. Sometimes this then leads to further goals and more specific processes.
I think one way to think about it is the work that the artist does with the community happens really early on in the process. Hopefully the artist doesn't come in with a concept actually, or an idea of a design. We're hoping that the artist works directly with the community to be inspired by them and what they want to see at their recreation center. And so we hope that the artist will really work hand in hand and talk and listen to the community and really get a sense of what they're looking for, and then bring ideas and concepts, potentially designs or renderings, back to the community to get feedback and input on how they react to it. And if it resonates with them and it feels like that's what they're hoping for, in the end they are trying to, as Maria Teresa was saying, they really are trying to address the goals. Like does the community feel like the artist really captured the goals of the project in the design that they created? So. Yeah. Thanks. Any other questions?
Any more questions?
Well, know that you can always reach out to staff. Marie Therese has given you her contact information. You can reach out to staff anytime, but particularly at the virtual open office hours is a great time because people set aside time to answer questions or to talk about whatever it is you're interested in around the program. And we look forward to seeing your applications.
Yes. Great. Thank you all so much. Oh, the budget for this project is $23,000. Very welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Have a good evening.
Special shout out to Delano for being here. He's staff at the Recreation Center. Thank you, Delano.
Thanks, Delano.
Thanks, Sue. I appreciate it, Maria Teresa. A pleasure to be here as well.
Appreciate it.